man, so Bryson Tiller was on the Roy and Mal podcast and he spoke about his interaction with Timbaland that led to him quitting his job, and it wasn't for no reason in totality. It wasn't for no reason in totality, but Timbaland didn't follow through with him after he quit his job because I guess he didn't like the music. I don't know. That's what I'm getting from these headlines and the conversation that's going on. We're going to tap into that. I'm going to react to this for the first time with y'all. But Tim actually responded to this that led to a Bryson Tiller apology and blaming the media for picking up on the story. Let's walk into this, but keep in mind that I'm coming from the perspective of knowing that Timbaland had Tink and he ruined that situation, and this had to be around the same damn time within a couple years of each other. So I don't know what's going on around that time for Tim, but let's see what's going on, because he could have had a new renaissance of artists if he was on point with Bryson Tiller and Tink.
And then I finally uploaded that song, and I got a call from Rich, and he was like, "Yo, Timbo, want to holler at you." I was in a movie theater. I just had to get off an argument with my girl at the time, and I was down bad. He was like, quit your job or whatever. Well, actually, I told him, I was like, I can't come to Miami because I got to work. He said, this is work. And I was like, well, what you saying? You saying like I should quit my job or something? He was like, yeah. And I was like, I bet. So I literally went to my job. I couldn't wait. Flew back. I was in Philly, actually. Flew back to Louisville. Drove the whole way. First, we was taking turns on the way to Philly. This way, I drove all the way back by myself.
Wait. So you driving from Philly to Louisville, knowing that Timbaland just told you, quit your job.
Yep.
How fast was you driving? Because I know that got to be like, I got to get to Louisville right now.
That's a once in a lifetime shot. You got to take it.
I was speeding, dog. Like, I was really trying to get back. My car was fucked up. I didn't even care, but I just had to get back so I could go to my job and be like, I'm quitting. And I went to go tell them. I said, the Timbaland wants to work with me. I think they really thought I was talking about like the boot company or something. I was like, they was like, all right, man. Well, we wish you the best.
Footwear it is. That's hilarious.
So I was like, all right, cool. So I went down there, and I recorded like maybe 3 or 4 songs from Trap Soul, and this ain't to like slight Timbaland or nothing at all, but like he wasn't really rocking with him too much like that, and he was like, we need more songs like Don't. And I was just like, but I already got Don't.
Right.
I was like, I already got that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is, like I said, these are songs that made Trap Soul that I was playing on. And then
which ones didn't he like?
Sorry Not Sorry, Been That Way.
Was that like the third single?
Yeah. It was a couple of them that he wasn't really rocking with. And then I got back home, and then like he gave me like a little bit of cash. Whenever I got back home, and that cash was running out, and I was like, dang, so like, how does this work? Am I like signed right now? So I called him up. I was like, so like, when am I gonna get my next payment? You told
me to quit my job.
Papa John's, they pay me every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then they was like, and my boy Rich was like, Timbaland said he never told you to quit your job, and I was like, nah. Oh my God.
Hey Tim, what you doing, dog? What's up, man? What you doing out
sick, dog. I was sick because like, my girl at the time was already looking at me crazy because like I quit my job, you know what I mean? And that was how we was taking care of our kids. Right. So I was like, I had to figure something out. My dog Gerald actually is the one who helped me end up getting my daughters like Christmas presents or whatnot. But anyways, at that point, that was when I realized I was like, all right, I just gotta keep going. I came up here to New York. I recorded Exchange, and like a couple of other joints, Right My Wrongs, like from Trap. So I just basically started making Trap Soul, and then next thing you know, it was like every week something was happening. Every week something amazing was happening. I just couldn't believe it. It was like a wildfire, and that's like that's what I these labels and these people, they always want you to get on social media and do the dances and do everything to promote your music. But I just genuinely believe that like, if the music is good, it's gonna catch. You know what I mean?
That's one thing I did notice about you. You don't really play the social media game like that.
This shit happens. Now, would you have wanted the nigga to tell you to quit your job and you quit your job and shit work out like that? You probably could have just took some PTO. I don't know. I wish he could have went back to his job or figured something out. I wish he could have figured something out, but it still was like he was a vessel that put you in a position that let you know that you got to go ahead and you were good enough. You knew for sure you were good enough, and soon more blessings came past that point. Like, you were good. Things worked out the way they were supposed to work out. But I know he felt shitty. I know he did. I know he felt uncomfortable, especially when you heard a conversation one type of way, it was that way. And then this nigga Timbaland, who probably deals with 1,000,001 artists I'm exaggerating, of course, but I'm pretty sure he does this all the damn time. At this point in his career, especially then, he's just trying to find the new thing. But this is what Timbaland had to say in response, though.
Bryson called me yesterday and said they took a story and, you know, as always, clip it a certain way. But the reality of it is, there's really nothing to respond because Bryson is a great guy. And at that moment, I remember me telling him, you know, he had to quit his job. But at that moment, I was so highly focused on Tink because I didn't know if Bryson really wanted to be an artist. Bryson is one of the illest writers and talented guy that I know. And he was with my man who was working with me at the same time, who managed him, Richie. So I always try to put him in the right space, even if I wasn't in the right space, if you know what I mean. Like, because my focus was, at that time, was mainly on Tink, you know, getting her a deal and trying to get her signed. But as you know, Bryson called me yesterday and said he didn't have Don't when I met Bryson. And Bryson was he was just a, you know, he's like me. We don't try to be in the limelight, you know what I'm saying? And I knew that in this business, you got to be ready to go or you're going to get run over. And at that time, I just saw a talented kid, but I didn't know if he really wanted to be a full-fledged artist. So, but I knew he was talented, and I did tell him to quit his job. And after he quit his job, he came up with Don't, and that was the biggest record of his career. And I think Bryson is he's one of the best artists out there. And as you can see, he really don't like being an artist, which I knew back then. You know, he didn't have. Sometimes, you know, artistry is a heavy task. Writing music is better, you know. And I think that, and as I heard him lately say that he preferred to write for artists. And that's what I always saw in Bryson, you know. And I think Bryson is a prolific writer, you know. Artistry, Bryson be Bryson, you know. Look at him, you know. He kind of don't do the spotlight like that, which I think is fine in today's time. But at that time, I didn't think it was fine. I feel like you had to break down barriers, and he did that, and I love him for that.
Yo, Timbo won.
So inconsistencies in the story, like, I'm not gonna even dive into it. Obviously inconsistencies in this story, but it is what it is. They patched it up, they pieced it up, and that's just that right there. Listen, dog, if I'm gonna be real, I definitely understand Bryson's approach, bro. You done had hits like Wild Thoughts. You had your own personal hits, and you still could come back and drop that song he dropped like last year, I believe. Bryson good. He know how to come and get his bags, man. He's happy. That's all you can ask for in this shit, bro. Just to be happy and still be able to create as creative, and people could validate you when the fans fuck with your shit. You ain't worried about these lists and the validation from, you know, talking heads like myself or people that's much bigger than myself. Like, you know, you don't need that. You know, when you put your pen to the pad and you put your music out, people love it. The fans love it. People respond. Shit, after I left the gym today, I put on a little mixed ass and Bryson Tiller in there because that nigga raw, and I ain't even think that was gonna be covering this today. But Bryson put out a public apology saying, "I'm sorry, Timbaland. I forgot how this industry feeds on controversy. I fell right into his trap like leeches. The media would suck the negativity out of something you meant no harm by and use it for their own benefit. Likes, comments, and subscribers. Shit is wicked. I wanted to be brutally honest with Rory and Maul because I rock with him, so I intentionally forgot all my media training. It's crazy, man. The satire just writes itself right into this game, and I can't wait for y'all to play it. Brutal industry by Trap Soul Games." And I don't know. I mean, and I ain't gonna lie though. I don't think it turned into a big controversy of people getting. I didn't see a lot of people upset with Timbaland. Like, I'm gonna be real. I didn't see people upset with him. I just seen the post go up and people just clip it and post it. I don't know if there was any craziness. I think people probably would just be like, damn, Timbaland missed out. Maybe. I didn't see that though. But Bryson's trying his best to get ahead of the story, and he just don't want a controversy. I get it. But I don't think it was that big of a deal. Nigga just telling the story. It is what it is. I think it's a cool story to tell, you know, because everyone has their route of how shit go in this game. Shit. One of my best experiences was listening to the J. Cole podcast when he talked about his journey. That shit was fire. So I like hearing people tell their stories and stuff. So with him being such a private person, he just didn't expect the pod to be clipped and it could be possibly taken as a negative thing. But you good, bro. Tim basically said they didn't need no response anyway, but it is what it is. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts though. Let me know what you got to say in the comment section below. Me, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here though. This is another update with Stace. Yo.